name is Sarah Schickman. I'm the managing partner at Lengea Law. We are a law firm that works with a lot of different healthcare companies, IV hydration businesses, med spas, mental health companies. And we wanted to make this video about how to start a medical spa in California. And joining me is our California Off Counsel, Lauren Sullivan, who has a super impressive background in healthcare law. And I'll let Lauren introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Lauren Sullivan, and I'm the California Licensed of Counsel here at Lengea Law. I've been licensed in California for a little bit over 15 years now, and I have devoted my entire career to healthcare law, both in the government and private sectors.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So before we get right into it, can you give us an idea of like how many med spas you've helped us get involved with, helped form, or helped represent?
Yes, I have personally assisted with dozens of med spas in California, getting them off the ground, which is a super rewarding experience because it's very exciting, helping entrepreneurs start their own businesses.
Yeah, awesome. It's definitely been a great experience for us too, seeing people like really start their business from these very tiny companies to now some of our clients are quite large now. So tell me, what is a med spa, and how does someone start one in California?
So a med spa is basically a medical practice that provides cosmetic, medical, aesthetic treatments, usually in a relaxing setting that help the patient remain at ease.
Got it. And so is it closer to like a medical practice, or is it closer to like a regular spa where people get massages?
So it's something in between, because the services that are provided are much more heavily regulated and have to be provided by licensed health professionals. It in that way is closer to a medical practice, but at the same time, the setting itself is closer to a day spa, in that it's a more relaxing setting and it doesn't have as much of a clinical feel as a regular medical practice.
Got it. And in California, who's allowed to medically own a med spa?
So California follows a legal doctrine called the corporate practice of medicine, which essentially prohibits anyone other than a physician from owning a med spa in California. So all med spas in California should be owned by a physician.
And then we have a lot of clients who are nurses and business people. How did those people get involved in the med spa business?
So people that don't have a medical license, that aren't a licensed physician, can be involved in operating the business side of a medical spa by having what's called a management services organization, or MSO, which is essentially a business that's created to manage the business side of the medical spa.
And can the nurse, for example, own 100% of the MSO?
Yes, the nurse can own 100% of the MSO.
Okay. And then the physician in that case would own what? They would own like a separate company?
Yes, so the physician would own 100% of the professional corporation, which is the business entity that a physician is required to use to own a medical practice or a med spa in California.
And what's California like in terms of its regulatory enforcement? Is it a pretty relaxed state, or is it more strict in terms of this prohibition?
So California is very strict in enforcing the corporate practice of medicine, which is why it's so important for people that are interested in getting into the med spa industry to consult with an attorney to set up a legally compliant structure.
And what happens to people like who are not compliant, who are not set up correctly? Like, what's at stake, or what could happen?
So the the med spa could be closed down, or for licensed registered nurse, for example, the licensed registered nurse could get in trouble with the board of nursing, and their license would be at stake.
So big deal, right? Like if
Yes,
someone's not
very
set up
big deal.
correctly.
Yeah, that's not a process that you want. That's a process you want to avoid if possible.
Got it. And then how do people how do we usually work with people? Like tell people about maybe our process or about what's a typical way that people would open a med spa in California. Like maybe describe a typical client that you've worked with.
So most of our clients I've met through our free 15-minute consultations that can be booked on our website, where we discuss with the client sort of their needs and visions for the med spa, and recommend which of our memberships options would be best for them. From there, once they sign on as a client, we would form the MSO, the Management Services Organization, and then we would get them in touch. We would work with them to find a medical director, either by giving them a list of California medical directors that we've worked with in the past, or if they have a medical director they want to work with, making sure that medical director sort of understands the process, and making sure the medical director has a professional corporation that can be used for the contracts. If the medical director doesn't have a professional corporation yet, we would be happy to assist in forming that. From there, once the medical director is in place and there's a professional corporation and MSO that can be used for the structure, then we would draft the contracts, which would consist of the Management Services Agreement, the MSA, which outlines sort of the terms of the business relationship between the medical director and our client, and a supervisory agreement formalizing the medical director's relationship, as well as independent contractor agreements for any independent contractors or any employees of the structure.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And that process, like how long does it typically take?
So that process, it sort of depends on how far along the client is in solidifying their vision for the business, but getting the legal structure set up takes 4 to 6 weeks at most.
Oh, great. That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Any other words of advice for people looking to start a med spa in California?
I'd say that obviously consulting with an attorney is very important, since California does have a lot of unique laws and regulations compared to other states. And finding services that the client is very excited about, because your passion will help you attract paying customers and patients.
Yeah, that's very well said. Just like for us, right? Like our
Right.
passion for like helping people start these kind of businesses helps attract those businesses to us. So it's the same.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this. To reach us, our email is team@lengealaw.com, and we're going to put our contact information at the end of the video. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. As Lauren mentioned, we do offer the free 15-minute Zoom consultation, and we look forward to chatting with you.